You've been watering your plants wrong, and your good intentions are probably the problem. If you're here because you've lost plants you genuinely tried to care for, you're in exactly the right place. Most plant deaths aren't caused by neglect. They're caused by a small set of very specific watering mistakes that almost everyone makes without ever realizing it. And look, even if you've been keeping plants for years, chances are you're quietly committing at least 3 of these right now. By the end of this video, you'll know all 10 of the most common watering errors, exactly why each one causes damage, and what to do differently, starting today. The first mistake is one almost every plant owner makes, and it sounds so logical on the surface that most people never stop to question it. Before we get into the list, here's the one principle that ties all 10 mistakes together. The leaves of your plant are always a mirror of what's happening underground. Healthy roots, healthy leaves. If the foliage looks off, the roots are trying to tell you something, and water is almost always part of that story. So keep that in mind as we go through each of these. Now, the most common watering mistake by a long stretch: watering your plants on a fixed schedule. Once a week, every 3 days, half a glass every Sunday. None of it works, because your plants do not care what day of the week it is. They care about what the soil is telling them right now. And that changes with the season, with the humidity in your home, and with how much light the plant is actually getting. A plant in a bright window in August needs water far more often than the same plant in a dim corner in January. The fix isn't a calendar, it's observation. Push your finger about an inch into the soil and feel for moisture. Lift the pot. A noticeably lighter pot almost always means drier soil. You can also use a wooden skewer the way you'd test a cake. Push it in, pull it out, and check whether it comes out damp and dirty or clean and dry. Your plant is constantly talking to you. Learning to listen is the whole skill. And once you develop it, bad timing will never cost you a plant again. But knowing when to water is only half the story. How you actually deliver that water matters just as much. And the instinct most people follow here is almost exactly backwards. When people aren't sure whether a plant needs water, the natural instinct is to give it just a little, a cautious splash, a trickle, something to be safe. Don't. If you're genuinely unsure, just wait and check again tomorrow. But the moment you decide to water, go all in. The goal is to get water to every single root, not just dampen the surface. Here's the thing about very dry soil. It behaves like a dry sponge. It becomes hard for water to penetrate, and if you pour it on too fast or in too small an amount, it runs straight through without being absorbed at all. So water slowly, water generously, and give the soil time to take in moisture all the way from top to bottom. You can also water by immersion. Place the pot in a basin of water for a few minutes and let the soil draw moisture upward from below, the whole thing soaking up like a sponge. Either way, always wait for the excess to drain from the holes at the bottom. That tells you every root got what it needed. Speaking of drainage, here's where a lot of people make a mistake they don't even know they're making, because it plays out quietly long after the watering is done. Every plant pot needs drainage holes. That's not a preference, it's a requirement. Without them, water collects at the base, roots sit in standing water, and rot sets in faster than almost any other mistake you can make. But having drainage holes is only the first part. After you water, excess water pools in the saucer beneath the pot. If it's still sitting there several minutes later and the soil isn't pulling it back up on its own, empty it. Don't leave it. That pooled water keeps roots soaking long past the point where it helps, and that's exactly where rot starts. A good habit is to do a quick saucer round after every watering session, especially for plants you can't easily carry to the sink. There's also a related mistake that doesn't get talked about enough: putting a small plant into a pot that's way too large for it. When the roots haven't spread through the soil yet, all that extra damp earth just sits there unused. It goes mouldy, fungus develops, and perfectly healthy roots end up surrounded by decay they had nothing to do with. Always match the pot size to the plant. If the current pot is too big and it's spring, just repot now. Your plant will genuinely thank you for it. Now here's something that sounds almost gentle, almost nurturing, but done at the wrong time or in the wrong way, it quietly causes real damage. Getting water on your plant's leaves isn't automatically a problem. Outdoors, after rain, a breeze dries everything off naturally. And honestly, that's exactly how plants are built to handle water. Indoors, it's a totally different situation. Air doesn't move as well inside a home, and moisture sitting on leaves for too long creates the perfect conditions for mold, rot, and infections. If direct sunlight hits those wet leaves, on top of all that, you risk burning them too. So when you're watering indoors, aim for the soil only. If you want to clean dusty leaves occasionally, pick a day when you can open a window and let them dry off quickly. Timing matters more than most people realise as well. Morning is almost always the best moment. Your plant has the whole day ahead to use that moisture while it's actively at work. In summer, late evening works really well too, giving the roots a long, cool night to hydrate slowly, far from the heat of the afternoon. What to avoid? Midday watering in summer and watering on grey, damp winter days when the air is already doing most of the work for you. Two last mistakes, and they sit at completely opposite ends of the watering spectrum. Both cause real damage and both are completely avoidable. The temperature of your water matters more than most people expect. Room temperature is what you're aiming for, not cold from the tap and not warm. Cold water applied directly to roots is a genuine shock to the system, one that isn't immediately visible but builds up over time and weakens the plant. The fix is dead simple. Fill your watering can the evening before you plan to water. By morning, the water has settled to room temperature, and the soil has had the night to shed any heat it held during the day. So you end up watering cool soil with cool water. Perfect combination. Now, the 10th and final mistake is the one that feels the most innocent. Just forgetting. Underwatering is way less common than overwatering. Most plant lovers err on the side of too much love, not too little. But neglect adds up. Roots that stay dry too long suffer real damage, and a plant that's been quietly struggling for weeks is a lot harder to bring back than one you catch early. Keep an eye on them. Make it a habit. Look, the whole thing really comes down to balance. Too much water harms, too little harms, and everything you need to get it right is already in front of you. Just pay attention. Now that you know all 10 of these mistakes, I really want to know which ones you've been making. Drop your answer in the comments below. No judgment whatsoever, because honestly, every single one of us has been guilty of at least a few of these at some point.